لا. Okay. أسماء الإشارة. أسماء الإشارة, just, I'm not going to translate this one. إشارة is just to indicate. So the names of indication, the literal translation. So أولا اسم الإشارة للقريب. Firstly, first and foremost, اسم الإشارة للقريب is something that's close. So when you see the word هذا, what does it really mean? So you've learned هذا, هذه, and all of these words. So what is it? So now I'm just going to expose you to what's the grammar behind it. So now you know how it's used. If I tell you هذا ولد, هذه بنت. So now what's the grammar behind it? مفرد ما دل عليه. When somebody says هذا, what does it mean? ما دل عليه. مفرد مذكر قريب. So it's singular, it's masculine, and it's قريب. Example, المثال هذا طالب هذا قلم. So both طالب and قلم is مذكر, i.e. masculine, and they're both close by. So for somebody who's far away, you will typically not say هذا. You will use a word that's farther or further, and it has to be singular. So if there is men plural standing, you will say هؤلاء رجال, for somebody that's close, these men. So let's say for feminine, okay, there's two forms of this. One is عاقل and غير عاقل. عاقل is somebody, basically somebody of intellect. I.e., when you refer to, let's say, a person, typically, you will say, you will use the, let's say for a female, let's say a girl, you'll say هذه بنت. So مفرد, it's singular, it's مؤنث, feminine, and قريب. هذه طالبة. طالبة is obviously a female student. You'll say هذه طالبة. هذه بيضة. This is again like an egg, if you want to call it, a singular form. هذه also is used for غير عاقل, يعني something that is not, someone who is not, a non-living object is a perfect example. So if you look at these, قلم is a مذكر, but in the jam, you'll all say, in the plural form, you'll say هذه أقلام. هذه أقلام. هذه سيارات. So if I want to give you another example, كتب, kitab is مفرد مذكر. It is singular and it's masculine. When you say kitab is singular, masculine. Once you say kutub, you'll say هذه كتب, these books. And if you translate it, you'll translate as these books. So whenever you look at a word, see the sentence, and then that'll give you an indication. Because طالب is a singular form, i.e. طالب and طالبة is a singular form. But since this is طالبة, you'll say هذه طالبة. Now, أقلام is the jam' of qalam, which is a pen. So you'll not say هذا أقلام, but you'll say هذه أقلام. Is that clear before we move forward?
نعم.
جيد. هذاني is like saying, I know there's no, you'll say these, it's like saying for two people. مثنى مذكر, i.e. it's dual and masculine. هذان رجلان. هذان كتابان. So I said كتب is هذه because it's جمع. In Arabic it's مفرد, مثنى, and جمع, i.e. one, two, many. In simple terms, there's one, two, and plural. So for kitab, you'll say هذا كتاب. For two books, you'll say هذان كتابان. But once you say, let's say, as I mentioned, كتب, you'll say هذه الكتب. So هاتان is مثنى مؤنث, i.e. dual but feminine. هاتان بنتان. هاتان بنتان is two, these two females. هاتان سيارتان, these two cars. So again, we have masculine and feminine. هؤلاء is these. جمع, it's plural. مذكر, you'll use it for the masculine form. ومؤنث, and the feminine form. عاقل, obviously use it for somebody who's like a person. So you'll say هؤلاء رجال. هؤلاء نساء. These men, these women. And for something that is قريب. So أولئك is for something that's far, a word that's used in the Quran a lot. أولئك هم المفلحون. Those are the ones who are successful. هؤلاء is something that is close, close, you'll say these men or these women. هنا is here, but for something that is close by. مكان قريب, it's a place that is close. هنا البيت, here is the house. السيارة هنا. If I tell you where's the car, like how you say السيارة هنا, the car is here. جيد. So now all of these, this table, literally you can print this page and stick it on your collection if you want to in the beginning. So all of this is for something that is قريب, something that is close. Then you have أسماء الاشارة للبعيد, the second one. Just let me know if this is easy. If it is difficult, inshallah. Is everybody on the same page?
نعم.
No.
جيد. الاسم, so you have a word in the Quran, ذلك الكتاب, okay? So ذلك is something that's typically used for بعيد, something that's far. مفرد, مذكر, بعيد, i.e. it is singular, مذكر is masculine, and بعيد. ذلك الأستاذ, that teacher. ذلك الكتاب, that book. You'll not say this book, but something to indicate that's far. تلك is مفرد, مؤنث, بعيد. تلك is مفرد. تلك آيات الله نتلوها. So these are the ayat, the verses that we recite. So تلك is مفرد, مؤنث, بعيد. I'll mention the other case also. تلك البنت. It's technically, actually, I can only translate it as this, but something that's far. I'm not sure if there's really because it's kind of like saying that girl, that. Yeah, I think that might be the closest translation. تلك البنت, تلك الشقة, that apartment, something to indicate far. So, and the other one they use is the one, that example that I mentioned, جمع غير عاقل, something that is non-living. I mean, something doesn't, like something I don't want to say intellect, but let's say a non-living person or somebody who's not living. جمع غير عاقل, تلك الأبواب, those doors. So تلك الآيات, those آيات. So when the jam' is used, you can also use, because آية is مفرد مؤنث. When you say آيات, you can say هذه آية, because آية is a feminine form, this verse. But once you use the jam', you say تلك الآيات, these verses. تلك العمارات, these buildings, to indicate that's far. And the last one, أولئك. أولئك is again those, but you'll use it for جمع, you'll use it for the plural, جمع مذكر ومؤنث, and for the feminine and masculine plural. عاقل, this has to be like a person. بعيد, something that's far. أولئك الرجال, أولئك النساء. Then you had هنا, that is to indicate close. هناك is something far. هنالك, again, that is something that is far. مكان بعيد, something to indicate, it's like saying there. Here is something that's close, there is هناك. المركز هناك, the center is there. المركز هنالك, the center is there. Typically, the most common one used in most books, you'll find is هناك. هنالك is not commonly used, but it does exist. So you have ذلك to indicate something that's masculine, something that's far. تلك is for feminine, it's like saying that girl. Or you can say though in translation, it's used for plural, but something that's let's say non-living, like those cars. تلك السيارة, those cars. أولئك, something that's far, those men or those women. هنالك, something it's like the opposite of here, that, but it's for far, something that's far. So if I want to say the markaz is there to indicate something that's far, I'll say al-markaz hunak, the markaz is there. So if I want to say al-madrasa, the school is there to indicate far, I'll say al-madrasa hunak. If I want to say the opposite, the madrasa is close, I'll say al-madrasa huna, the madrasa, the school, is here. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Any questions on this before we go? Once you do the exercise, you'll kind of understand. Any questions on this?
Could you go over which words mean masculine, feminine for me?
So masculine, you typically which words? Like I just
Oh,
want
I
I
mean
don't.
like literally in the middle column.
Oh, this one. Okay, yeah. So you have هذا obviously once you see هذا it's a masculine word. It's a singular, مفرد, مذكر, masculine, and قريب, and something that's close by. So if I tell you هذا دياء, this is دياء, and it's obviously it's a masculine word, and to indicate something that is close. If let's say you are standing far away from me, and obviously let's say dia is a male, so what you will say is ذلك dia, that is dia, and I point towards somebody that's far. So that's when I would use ذلك. So هذا ذلك. هذه you would use obviously feminine. You said you only want masculine forms, right?
What word means feminine literally?
So once you see هذه, feminine, singular, or you'll use it for plural for non-living. So if I say هذه الكتب, هذه الأقلام, those are like non-living, you'll use هذه also, but plural forms of non-living. For let's just say one girl, I'll say هذه بنت, this is a girl. Okay, and then هذان is the dual form for masculine. هاتان is the dual form for feminine. Is that clear? Or
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I know. I mean, in English, I think you don't have so much precision sometimes with so many things, but once you do the exercise, inshallah, it should get easier. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, let me give you an example. I will do a few, then I'll ask you guys to do some. ضع, place. اسم إشارة. اسم الإشارة like how we took ذلك هذا هذه. مناسبا a suitable اسم الإشارة. مكان النقاط in the place of let's say the blank, the line. So يوم الحار, يوم is a day. حار is he's only describing the day. What form would you put here? If I want to say this is a hot day, or this day is hot, what form would you use?
هذا.
هذا يوم حار. This is a hot day. This day is hot. Let's go to the second one. You have رجال صالحون. Righteous men. Righteous men. So you can use two forms here. Either you can say these or you can say those. What would you use? Think about it. So this is a table. From this table, what would be suitable? Righteous men. So you can either say these or you can say those.
هذان.
لا, men is plural.
What's plural?
هؤلاء.
هؤلاء. هؤلاء is like these, or you can say also أولئك. Both are fine. These and those to indicate something that's close by, or to indicate something that's far. You will say أولئك. أولئك is like those men are righteous. Okay. فتاتان. Fata is like a feminine but younger girl. It's like the younger girl. مؤدبتان is like saying they're well mannered. So they're showing you dual and they're showing you feminine form. So would you say هذه? Would you say هاتان? Would you say هؤلاء? Remember, it's a dual form. What would you use?
هاتاني.
هاتاني. Exactly. Anybody else? Is it هاتاني?
نعم.
جيد. هاتاني. جيد. الثالث subhanallah, I went to this one. Where's the fourth one? Why did they go here? Okay. كانت البيوت ممتلئة. Okay. كانت is to indicate past tense. Okay. بيت, originally, you'll say هذا بيت. Okay. ممتلئة is like kind of like saying full. Okay. Bait is غير عاقل, something that is non-living. Now, once you use a plural of a non-living, would you say هذا البيوت? Or would you say هذه البيوت? Would you say هؤلاء البيوت? What would you say?
تلك.
No, you would say هذه البيوت. The plural form for غير عاقل to indicate something that's close. You can use تلك also. تلك also is fine. Sorry, I should have تلك also is fine. If you want to indicate something that's far. So if you're going to use غير عاقل to indicate something that's far, you can say هذه or you can say تلك. Is that clear? Is everybody on the same page?
Yeah.
Bait is feminine, right?
Yes, bait is feminine. So if you want to indicate something, let's say you're pointing to something that's close by, you'll say هذه البيوت, but you want to indicate something that's far, you'll say تلك البيوت. Is that clear?
Yeah.
This is a weird sentence. آبائي is to indicate fathers. But when you say آبائي, it means my fathers. I'll skip this one. Maybe I don't know if they were trying to say, they should have just said هؤلاء آبائي. Let's go to the sixth one. Okay. الطالبات مجتهدات. طالبات is the جمع of طالبة. It's a plural of طالبة. مجتهدات, they're basically hard workers. But what's the plural form you use for طالبات? Would you say هذه? Would you say هؤلاء? Would you say أولئك? What would you use? Everybody's quiet. Let me show you the table. Remember, it's هؤلاء بنات مجتهدات, or you can say أولئك. So طالبة, I would have said, if it was just a singular form, I would have said هذه طالبة مجتهدة. Or I would have said هاتان طالبتان مجتهدتان. Once it becomes plural, I have two options. Either if they're close by, I'll say هؤلاء الطالبات مجتهدات. If they're far, I'll say أولئك الطالبات مجتهدات. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. The next one, the seventh one. أمراض is like saying diseases, plural. خطيرة جدا. How would you say it's, remember, diseases is غير عاقل. It's not somebody that's living. How do you say these diseases are dangerous or very dangerous? Everybody's quiet. Come on.
That word for diseases is plural.
Yes, مرض is like sickness. أمراض, kind of like saying disease or sicknesses, but I would just translate it as diseases.
تلك.
You can say تلك or you can say هذه الأمراض. Both of them are fine. And depends on how you want to, if you want to point out as something that's close or something that's far. Then the eighth one, انظر إلى بنات. بنات is the plural of look at. بنات is plural. Look at, if I want to say these girls, how would you translate it? What's the word? These girls. You have two options.
هؤلاء.
هؤلاء is fine, and you can say أولئك also if you want to indicate something that's far. Okay. المعلمتان مجتهدتان. معلمتان, two female teachers. مجتهدتان, they're both hardworking. What would you use?
هاتان.
هاتان also is fine, or you can say, what is the other one? Yeah, actually, هاتان should be fine. That's it. And what's the next one? دخلت الأسواق مع صديقي. Okay, yeah. I entered, I'll translate it in English and you tell me what's going to be the word. I entered these shops with my friend. Remember, this is غير عاقل. So I want to indicate something that's close. You can even say it for those shops, but in this case, let's say I want to indicate something that's close.
Have.
yeah.
Remember, aswaq is shops. It's not.
Oh.
It's not aqil. So what would you say? You can't say hawla'i.
Oh. What's shops?
I guess tilka.
Tilka is those shops. So if I want to say these shops, something that's close by, you'll say هذه الأسواق. So here they're saying هذه الأقلام. These pens to indicate jam plural for غير عاقل. So here, if you want to indicate something that's close by, you would say دخلت هذه الأسواق. These مع صديقي. So if it's something that is غير عاقل, obviously shops is not something it's not a person, it's not a living thing. You will say دخلت هذه الأسواق. These shops. تلك is used for something that's far. Totally fine. دخلت تلك الأسواق مع صديقي. So indicate something that's close by, you'll say هذه الأسواق. To indicate something that's far, تلك الأسواق مع صديقي. All right.
So هذا is singular masculine and هذه singular feminine and plural?
Plural for غير عاقل.
Okay.
Okay. Is everybody on the same page? I know in the first time it's kind of difficult, but once you learn how it works, I think in the beginning, every person struggles with why aren't we saying هؤلاء الكتب? Because كتب is غير عاقل, so you say هذه الكتب or you say تلك الكتب. Okay. All right, so this is one lesson we've completed.